Hey everyone, it's Katie. Thought I'd pop on here and tell you what my next steps are. So the rams are still on the plot here, mowing down the grass, but they've been doing a really good job. I got them on March 14th, and so it's been about 16 days for them to chew down. They're still working on it a little bit, but I wanted to get this process of occultation started, so I'm going to explain that a little bit today. Occultation is the process of covering and letting things decompose underneath. Occultation literally is this fancy French word meaning hidden, and so the aim is to cover the grass and the poop and the soil and let everything decompose underneath, let the organisms work everything in, and this takes time. So that's why I wanted to get on it right now, with my planting date set to be the beginning of May. I want this fabric on for at least 4 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks is kind of the sweet spot of how long it takes for everything to decompose under here. And so I'm using this woven plastic landscape fabric. The important part is that it is woven and that it is not a plastic tarp. If you were to use just a plastic tarp that's not woven, that would be like solarization. There's no air and moisture that can get through that. But with this stuff, it is this woven fabric, so it lets in moisture and air, which is critical for the organisms to breathe and for your soil to breathe, and so for everything to work as it needs to underground. So this is going to take about 4 to 6 weeks, which is why I wanted to get started on it, and I'll be doing the rest of it like this. How I lay this down is with staples, and you can also use heavy things like T-posts and staples. No, I said staples, sorry. You can use T-posts and bricks, heavy things like that to lay it down, or the staples you get for irrigation from your local hardware store. So that works too. And you just want to make sure you're overlapping them at least a couple of inches so that they stay down. And in my experience, the wind will try and like flip some of it up, so you just have to come back and patch it back together. The really long irrigation staples work better than the short ones, but depending on your soil, you may not be able to get the long ones driven in deep enough, so you might have to use the short guys. But yeah, this is the process. So this is gonna stay on here like this for at least a month. And I'm gonna look under there and check on it and make sure that everything is decomposing. And so essentially what this is doing is it's giving me a head start on the weeds. So the weeds underneath here, well, all this cover crop too, the grass, it'll try to grow back. Any weed seeds that are here will try and sprout, they'll germinate, but without sunlight, they'll die. And the cover crop is smothered, and so the roots are staying in the ground, in the soil, but the top layer is being smothered, and so that'll all decompose while maintaining good soil structure and the good organisms. And so when I pull the fabric off to come plant, I'll have a nice blank slate to come in with my transplants, and I'll be ahead of the weeds that way, because everything will have tried to sprout and then died. So this is a really great, simple, easy method. You can get this landscape fabric from large warehouse stores, large greenhouse store. There's Greenhouse Mega Store in Sacramento. DeWitt is a company that you can buy this stuff through online. So just search woven plastic landscape fabric. There's a lot of places that sell this in the rolls, and you can get different widths of the rolls. So I tend to, like at my old farm, I use this stuff also in the pathways. to keep the weeds down. Some people plant directly in this, some people burn holes and plant directly in that. I choose not to do that for a few reasons, but I did use it in my pathways to keep weeds down, and so my pathways were about 2 feet wide, and so if you know the length of your beds or your pathways, and if you know whether you want to plant in your beds or not, you can get a length, you can get a width that works for you, that is applicable to when you start your rows of crops, whatever it may be. So, and now I just want to kind of turn this phone camera and show you how the sheep have been working on this. So they've been on this cover crop and grass for a little over 2 weeks now. And you can still see they have a little ways to go. But compared to my last video, this is way munched down. They really preferred the vetch first, so they ate all the vetch, and now they're just working on mowing the grass down a little bit shorter. So this is a good time for me to just go ahead and get started on the occultation anyways. I'm gonna do half the farm at a time because I just don't have enough landscape fabric. And so you can see a little closer view of what's going on here. I have T-posts and staples holding some of it down. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.